streets of Brooklyn, where stories grow wild to the glow of the stage where the dream meets the child. A quiet flame, a hidden spark, drawn to the words that lit up the dark. Curtains rose and so did he, finding power in poetry. One voice, one mic, one sacred truth. Every word he spoke uncaged the youth. He saw the world try to silence the bold, but his soul was wired to break the mold. Now he walks in purpose, pure and true. He was born to speak.
Oh yeah, here we go, y'all. Here we go. Another episode of Born to Speak to You TV. I'm your host, Calvin Gibbs. Tonight's episode is called Reclaim Your Voice, Reclaim Your Life. I have a very special guest today, but first I have a question for you. Have you ever felt like you've been living someone else's story? Maybe you spent years trying to rise up to expectations, carrying emotional wounds, or believing messages that told you who you should be instead of discovering who you really were. What if today was the day that you reclaimed your voice and your life, all in one episode? In this powerful episode of Born to Speak to You TV, I sit down with a licensed psychotherapist, a speaker, and an author. And together, we're going to explore how healing, authenticity, and emotional wellness can help us break free from limiting beliefs and embrace the life that we were created to live. If you've ever questioned your worth, struggled to find your voice, or wanted the courage to become your authentic self, then this conversation is for you. Stay with us because your next chapter begins with one courageous decision right here on Born to Speak to You TV. Welcome to Born to Speak to You TV, where we're speaking life into the moments that matter. This isn't just a show. It's a movement. It's a space where stories are honored, voices are lifted, and truth has a mic. Each episode, we dive into powerful conversations on identity, on equity, growth, healing, leadership, and the courage that it takes to speak up in a world that often wants us to keep quiet. Whether it's through personal testimony, community impact, or artistic expression, Born to Speak to You is where voices rise and change begin. Our mission is simple: to empower people to use their voice, own their truth, and build bridges of communication and understanding. So, sit back or lean in, because you're about to witness what happens when passion meets purpose. This is Born to Speak to You TV. Let's speak life. And we are back. This is Born to Speak to You TV. This episode is called Reclaim Your Voice, Reclaim Your Life. And my guest today is Dr. Myron Krys. Let me give him a proper introduction. As I told you earlier, he's a licensed psychotherapist, he's a speaker, he's a scholar, and he's the creator of the 5 R's self-reclamation framework. This is a transformational model that empowers individuals to recognize limiting narratives, release what no longer serves them, and reclaim their authentic voice. They can redesign their lives with intention and receive the goodness that they deserve. So welcome, Dr. Myron Krys, to Born to Speak to You TV.
Thank you so much, Calvin. It's a pleasure to be here with you. And I must say, I was jamming on that introduction. I was like, all right, that's a whole groove.
Yes, it is. It's pretty jazzy. I love it. I love it. I love it. So let's jump right into it. I like to say, let's jump right into the deep end. That's where the party's at. Let's get wet. Let's talk about finding your voice. What does it really mean, in your definition, to reclaim your voice?
For me to reclaim your voice, and this is the work that I have been doing with clients for since 2018, but also something that's been a lifelong work for myself to find my voice. I think you mentioned I am a singer, so I've been singing. I came out the womb singing me, 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 me. So I've been singing, but then it's still possible to sing, but sing someone else's voice or someone else's narrative or what was taught to you. But finding your voice goes even deeper than that for me. It's finding your authentic truth. I know we'll talk about that a little bit later, but finding out what makes your heart sing, what makes you come alive, finding your passion, finding your purpose. And that's what, in a nutshell, finding your voice really entails for me.
Okay. And why do you think so many people lose their authentic voice?
I think people lose their authentic voice for main different reasons, but the main reason I would say is because we've been, especially I work with a lot of people from marginalized identities, from racial, sexual, neurodivergent, marginalized identities, and safety is one of those big concerns there. So if I don't feel safe to be me, if I don't feel safe to show up in the ways that I feel most comfortable, if I don't feel safe to say the things that I can, that I want to say, then that keeps me from showing up in my true authentic self. So I think that's one of the main reasons why people aren't able to be free and be themselves, is because of
Yeah.
those
And I
narratives.
know this, yeah, and I know there's a lot of other reasons why people lose their voice, like their family, uh, if their culture, life experiences. These are the things that shape our identity. And well, I'll ask the question to you. How do those things shape a person's identity?
From birth, we are shaped by culture. We're shaped by the where we were born, what country we're born in. I was born in Georgia, so may have a little Southern drawl that impacts the way that I show up in the world. When I came to Chicago, people like, "Oh, you got you sound like you country just because you're from the South," types of thing. I never grew up in the country. Atlanta is the city, but people say automatically put labels on you because of where you are, your skin color, your gender, whatever the case may be. So all of those things shape who we are and also
Mhm.
how other people view us.
That's correct. And sometimes even with family, you're supposed to act like this, not act like that, or look or dress like this, not dress like that. So I get it. I get it. What are some early signs that someone is living according to someone else's expectation?
It's hard to name that, I think, because a lot of times we just do it intrinsically. We just do it automatically because I'm a depth psychologist. So you said we're going deep. That's the work that I do. I don't like being at the surface. You think about an iceberg. You see the tip of the iceberg, and that's just a small piece, but it's so much underneath the water. So in my form of psychology, the goal is to go underneath the water and to start to unearth some of those deeper things that we might not even be aware of. But
Right.
a lot of these things just we don't even realize we're showing up in certain ways or acting certain ways because we just had to do that even as a 1, 2, 3 year old kid. So that's part of the work that I do, is trying to even get into that unconscious things that we don't even know we're doing and why we're doing those things, which could be from a culture. You mentioned culture, from years and years of people doing showing up in this way in our family and our culture, and we just repeat the same
Got
narrative
you.
that we were given.
Okay. Got you. Thank you for that. Let's move to the next segment, which is healing those wounds that are hidden.
Mhm.
Emotional wounds. How do they influence the decisions that we make?
Healing those emotional wounds. How
Yeah.
do they impact the decisions that we make?
Yeah.
It impacts everything, in my humble opinion, because we, again, I can't help but keep going back to safety. If I don't feel safe, then I'm moving in fear. We call that fight, flight, or freeze, fawn response, that trauma response, where we get into this automatic, we call it autonomic response, where we show up in these things And we don't even think about it most times because I don't feel safe. You think about a person who might have gone into war, a veteran, and they have PTSD, post-traumatic stress syndrome, and they are, anytime they even hear fireworks, we just had the 4th of July, hear fireworks, and they automatically feel like they're jolted back into a war combat zone. That's how some of our nervous systems can be, because our nervous system doesn't necessarily know the difference between a real danger and a fake one. So even when I'm coming on here, just to say and use this as an example, and I'm nervous and my body starts shaking a little bit, I don't even, it might be the same way that I respond if a tiger is chasing after me. The body doesn't know the difference, can't tell the difference, but the response can still feel the same. So even having to be able to see and tell myself I am safe.
And those, and those emotional wounds, those are hidden. People really can't see them until something happens and they come to the surface.
Yeah.
But why do so many people avoid the healing process?
People avoid the healing process because it can feel dangerous. It can feel unsafe. Many times we, in relationships, we go to not what's best for us, but what is comfortable. People get into abusive relationships because they grew up in an abusive home and it feels familiar. So sometimes we can mistake familiarity for comfortability. So then when you get into a healthy relationship where someone is talking to you with dignity, like, oh, something feels a little off, or this doesn't feel right, because you're not used to whatever that thing might be.
Right. And I'm glad you mentioned about that type of relationship, because to be truly free of that emotional stress or that emotional chains that you're in and get the emotional freedom, there's sometimes forgiveness that has to take place. And what role does that play in the emotional freedom?
So forgiving others, but also forgiving yourself. Particularly with clients that I work with, that's one of the major things. Forgiveness is tricky. It's easy. I grew up in a Christian home where they say you have to forgive, and there is some truth to that. However, I think sometimes we can be too quick, particularly as marginalized people, to forgive and forget people that have harmed us, especially when they continue to harm us. Maybe we should not forget, and that's just a side thought. Maybe we should figure out, I can forgive you, but I'm not going to be connected with you anymore. I'm going to put some distance from me because you are wounding me mentally, spiritually, physically, emotionally, whatever the case may be. So I think there is part of that. But the work that I love to do is to help clients and people to forgive themselves. I should have known better. I should have done this differently. But you did the best you could in the moment. It's like wherever you were psychologically, mentally, emotionally, you did what you thought was best. Now, hindsight is always 20/20, as they say. So it's easy to say, oh, I could have did this, I could have did this. But if you were put back into that same moment 30 years ago, chances are, with what you knew then, you probably still would do the same thing. But being able to say, I did the best I could, and even if I didn't do the best I could, I forgive myself, because the past is the past, but I'm not going to allow that to keep me restrained and keep me locked up so that I can't be free.
You know, it's true. A lot of times the word forgiveness is not, or the act of forgiveness is not for the perpetrator. Sometimes it's for the victim as well, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, let's put a pin in it right here. We'll take a short break and we'll be right back. This is Born to Speak to You TV. We'll be back in 60 seconds. we are back. This is Born to Speak to You TV. We're talking about reclaim your voice, reclaim your life with my guest, Dr. Myron Krys. I want to go back to our last segment for just one more question. I feel I got to ask this one. Is it possible for someone to move forward without addressing that past pain? Is it possible to actually move forward without addressing that past pain?
Of course, I've been positioned and socialized into a certain way of framework. So as a depth psychologist, as I mentioned earlier, the goal is to go and unearth some of those past things. Is it possible, I'm going to even push myself some to think, is it possible to heal without going back to the root? I can't in this immediate second think of a way of that you can do that. It's like putting a band-aid over a broken bone. Like, it might feel a little better for the moment, but you still have those deep wounds, those deep broken spots that have to be healed. And even when you try to move forward, again, going back to the unconscious, why do I keep pushing away these wonderful people that love me, but I keep doing this because I have these wounds that I've not addressed. So I'm in this second, maybe down the line, I'll say something differently, but in this second, I can't say that I don't
Yeah,
think it is possible to truly heal without at least accepting it, looking at it, accepting it, and
right.
yeah.
Yeah, when I was preparing for this talk today, I came across that question and I was asking myself that same question. Like,
Mhm.
I'm not sure, but then again, I'm not the expert. Let me ask the expert and see what he thinks about it. So let's quickly shift gears and move into the 5 R's framework. I
Yes.
really want to talk about this because I heard you present on this in a Toastmasters conference in the last few months, and it really, really resonated with me. So tell us about your self-reclamation framework.
Thank you for this question. So this is a framework that I've been working on for the last couple of years. It's a part of the Identity Reclamation Project. Identities, since I was a kid, was always a huge part. Who am I? And just even to be able to say that and name that, like you used to say when I was growing up, say it with your chest. To be able to name who you are with boldness, without trying to hold back or shrink down to say that. But as we've been talking about throughout this conversation so far today, getting to that point has been a challenge, and it is a challenge for some, especially, again, like I said, I'll talk a lot about to marginalized identities, people with marginalized identities. So I drafted this framework with my clients in mind, thinking about what do we need to do to get to where we're trying to go to, which is to be our true, authentic, whole selves, to live the lives that we want to live. So I came up with these. It actually started out with 4 R's. So to recognize the stories and narratives that shaped you, good, bad, and indifferent. Like, we don't want to just focus on the negative. We'll recognize all of those things that have shaped us. Release those limiting negative things that are holding you back or keep you sinking down. And then you want to reclaim the gifts, the strengths that are inside of you. That reclaiming could also be reclaiming ancestral traditions and rituals, things from your past that we post colonization that we forgot about. I'm African descent, and maybe there's some native African rituals and things that, again, growing up Christian, like my Christianity has said was taboo or was unholy, or those types of things. But maybe I need to go back and reclaim some of those things. And then fourth is to redesign life and love on your own terms. So what is a life? Knowing all of these things, I've recognized, I've released, I've reclaimed, but then I need to not stop there, because it's easy to tear things down. But
Mm,
many of us, we deconstruct. And I used to have students when I was a professor, down with capitalism, and they're going to tear down the system. And I would ask them, okay, that's good, but then what are you going to replace it with? So it's like, You making it hard for us. We just want to tear the stuff down. That's the easy part. But what do you rebuild afterward? Because if we're not careful, we'll just make the same thing over and over again. So redesign the life and love on your own terms. And I stopped there, but then I realized we can do all of this work. We can redesign, but then I came up with that receive, because after the fact, after we've had this beautiful framework that and the life that we say we want to live, but then when it comes, can you receive it? Are you able to let it in? Again, talking about how good things can come to us, but if we're not ready to receive it, then we can push it away. Oh no, I don't deserve that. I'm not ready for that. But so even receiving it is a skill and something you need to practice over and over and over again, the art of receiving. And now this is not just a linear pathway. I move away from that linear mindset, but you might go back recognize and then redesign. You might skip all across, and at different points, oh, I'm in a receiving season. This is the time for me to receive, just learn to receive. But then I might have to go back and release some things, because it's an iterative process. It just builds on itself. And as things come up, things you didn't know 10 years ago, now it's coming up. Oh, I have some bitterness. I need to release that bitterness. So just kind of naming those are the 5 R's for the framework.
Okay. All right. And what type of transformations have you witnessed through this framework?
I've seen people be less anxious. I had a person who wrote me actually wrote my supervisor, and was talking about, I entered in feeling anxious, feeling worried about life, and now he said he feels free. Like he said, I just feel I don't have that anymore. I was pretty much seeing him for a relatively short time. It's less than 6 months, but I'm like, wow, you're automatically saying that people are starting to love themselves more, accept themselves more. I'm thinking about another person I've been seeing for a little over a year now, and I asked him, how does he view himself? And he says, I like myself. Well, when I asked him that a year ago, how do you view yourself? He said, I feel like I'm an imposter. I feel like I'm a hypocrite. So even just sitting with people and allowing them to work the framework and go through the 5 R's, I'm definitely seeing the changes in people's perspectives and views of themselves. And this is just the beginning. It's only been 2 years that I've been working on this framework. So of course, as any framework, it's a theory, and kind of work it and build on it and see what works, what doesn't work. But
Right. Do you think you may come up with a 6th R?
I like 5. Five is a good number. I don't see a 6 R at this point.
Okay.
To each of the 5 R's that actually they're broken into 3 subcategories for each of those 5. We don't have time to go into all of those today, but yeah. So it's building and it's growing, and I think hopefully it's going to help even more people as I write about it, and that hopefully through this broadcast and others like it.
All right. Well, thank you for that. We're going to have a short break, a message from our sponsor, and we'll be right back with Reclaim Your Voice, Reclaim Your Life. This is Born to Speak to You TV. And we are back. This is Born to Speak to You TV. We're talking about reclaiming your voice, reclaiming your life with Dr. Myron Krys. Our next segment is called Living Your Best Life. Now, Dr. Krys, I was talking with a friend of mine that I hadn't seen since before the pandemic. And he's like, well, how you doing, man? I'm living my best life. Well, what do you mean? And I had to think about it for a second. And I said, I'm going to ask Dr. MK this one. What does living authentically look like to you every day?
Living authentically for me, and I even for the clients that I work with, I try to encourage them to listen to their bodies, listen to their minds, their voice, and to see what resonates with them. There's a technical term we call cognitive dissonance, where you feel two different things pulling against each other. I want to do this, but society tells me this, culture tells me this, I should act this way, I should behave this way. But I see that living your best life is bringing that into alignment, even if that means I'm going to wear what I want to wear, and I don't really care what anyone else thinks, because this is my life. No one else has, when you are in that grave, when we go to die, like, this is your life, and you've only been the one that could live it. So not allowing other people to dictate how you show up. Now, if you are under 18 and you're still living at home, maybe we need to navigate some things. You have to negotiate how to handle that with your people that are paying your bills. So there's some parameters there that we might have to talk about. But as far as if you're living alone, paying your own bills, then
Right.
do you.
Yep. Indeed. So basically, my definition of living my best life was correct because I'm of age. I'm free from corporate America now, and I do employ discipline in myself. I mind my business.
Yeah,
But if someone asks me something, then I feel that I have reached the stage to say what I want to say.
yeah,
Dress the way I want to dress, as you said. If you don't want to know something, don't ask me, because if you ask me, I'm going to let you have it both barrels. you know, and but truly, it's about being happy, and I um, can't think of a time in my life except maybe when I was a child that didn't have responsibilities. And I had mother and brother with me, and everything was we were together as a unit. I don't think I've been more happy than I am now. So, what's one misconception that people have about happiness? Or at least one.
yeah. I think one of the misconceptions is just gonna come out of the blue. It's like, oh, it's automatically gonna happen for me. But I think happiness is something that we have to work toward. We have to build. Is not just a one-time thing, but we have to be intentional about creating our own happiness. And if that means cutting some people out of your life that are Debbie Downers or Debo Downers or whatever you want to call them, people that are like judging you or making you feel bad about yourself, even if it's family. Sometimes you have to, like, I can't talk to you as much or at all. I have many clients who have had to disconnect from their families of origin, and they've had to do that. And unfortunately, that's just the thing that they needed to do for their own mental health and peace of mind and own happiness. But I think that is the thing that we have to continue to work toward. It's not a one and done type of thing. Once you get to happiness, you've arrived on that happiness mountain and you're there for the rest of your life. That's probably not the case. We have to continue to work for it. But also, it's a state of mind. You can choose to be happy regardless of what's happening in your life.
Indeed. If someone wants to start reclaiming their life today, what would you say would be the very first step they need to take?
Mm. The very first step to reclaiming their happiness is to listen,
Mm,
to listen to, like I mentioned earlier, listening to their voice.
mm,
Even it's that little small voice inside that says, I really would like to use this random example. I really would like to go get some ice cream. oh, but no, I don't need that. I don't want to gain weight or whatever the case may be. But just kind of listening to whatever that inner voice, I really would love to write a book. Oh, but then that inner critic says, oh, you don't know enough. You're not smart enough. You don't. But listening beyond the inner critic that is going to show up. If you're anything like me, it's going to show up. It's going to tell you all the 11 reasons why you can't do some things that you are supposed to do, what you're called to do. But heard somebody say that oftentimes when you feel like you know enough, that you are good enough, then you're over prepared. So don't wait till you feel like I got everything in the bag and now I can start, because then you're surpassed your prime, if you will. You surpassed the place where you should be.
Yeah. Yeah. One thing I've learned in life is that I will never be prepared to the point of being 100%.
Mm-hmm.
I have tried that and it never worked. It caused anxiety. It caused stress, caused me more stress. I now just go with what I know, and hopefully that's enough to get me to where I need to go.
Yeah.
I'll pick up some more things along the way to make it happen, but I'll never be 100% where I want to be, because I'm human. I'm not perfect,
And that was one of the things even throughout my journey, I got to get all these degrees. I had the 3 masters and a PhD. Now I know enough. And these people that haven't even finished high school and they're out here doing things and making mistakes and learning. I'm like, dang, and I got all these student loan debt, and and they just out here fancy free, just trying and failing again, and they're surpassing me financially. So just don't wait. You don't need a degree or anything to stop you. Just do the work, and if you want to get some degrees, then hey, do that. But don't allow that to be the litmus test to if you should start or something.
Amen. Amen. On the topic of living your best life, what do you hope people remember long after reading your work or hearing you speak?
Mm-hmm. The one thing, if there is one thing that I would like for them to remember, is to honor their truth. Like we're talking about today, honor their voice, because there's power in being you, power in being who you were created, or even if you don't feel like you were created, but whatever reason why you're put on this earth, why you're on this earth, living into that, showing up. If you feel inclined to make the world a better place, make even just the people in your sphere of influence, the people around you. I want to brighten up someone else's day. But whatever the case may be, just being honest with yourself, no matter what.
All right. All right. Well, Dr. MK, thank you so much. We're going to put a pin in it right here. We're going to take a short break and we'll be right back. This is Born to Speak to You TV. See you in 60 seconds. And we're back. This is Born to Speak to You TV. My guest today is Dr. Myron Krys. This episode is Reclaim Your Life. Reclaim Your Voice, Reclaim Your Life. And now, Dr. MK, we're going to play a little game. This is what I like to call 30 seconds to speak life. I'm going to ask you some quick questions, and you have to answer with one sentence if possible. In any case, you have 30 seconds to speak life. Are you ready?
I'm ready. Woo.
All right, here we go. What's one word that describes your life's mission?
Empowering, empowering
Hmm,
others.
okay. What brings you joy?
Nature.
Hmm, okay, okay. What's a book everyone should read?
Woo, that is a tough one. 30 seconds. Ugh. The first thing that comes to mind is Becoming, Michelle Obama.
Okay. Next, part two of that. Why?
Because she talks about the the work that she's done to become who I would argue her true authentic self, and so it fits right in line with what we're talking about today.
Absolutely. Are you a morning person or a night owl?
Morning, every day, all day.
Yes, sir. A habit that's changed your life.
I've said it many times today, but being patient with myself,
Hmm,
giving
okay.
myself grace.
Finish this sentence. Healing begins when.
You reconnect to your truth.
Connect to your truth. What's one limiting belief people need to let go of?
You're not enough.
You're not enough. Love that. Love that. Okay, are you ready? We're going to keep going.
Go ahead.
Coffee or tea?
Tea all day, every day.
All right. All right. If you could speak to your younger self, what would you say?
Fail forward. Keep
Fail
trying.
forward?
Yes, keep
Oh,
trying. Don't
all
allow
right.
anything to stop you.
All right. Fill in this blank. Your life, I'm sorry, your voice matters because.
You are the only one with it.
Mm, okay. What's one word you hope people use to describe you?
Caring.
Okay. Okay. Complete this sentence. Speak life by
Speak life by intentionality.
intentionality. I love that. I love that. Okay, Dr. MK, what's one word you wish people would say to themselves more often?
One word I wish people would say to themselves more often is you are beautiful, handsome, gorgeous, whatever word we want to use there. But
Okay.
encourage themselves.
All right. What gives you hope, sir?
It gives me hope. It's conversations like this that where we are talking about things that matter.
Thank you for that. I'll tell you right now that answer is correct. Uh, what's one fear worth facing?
That fear, and I keep saying the same thing over and over again, but that fear of yourself being your true authentic self, fear that if I show up, then no one is going to love me and no one's going to be there for me. That is a fallacy. That's a lie. If you show up with your true self, then your tribe will find you, but they can't find you if you are under a rock.
Okay. Now you told me you were grooving to the theme song for Born to Speak to You TV. If your life had a theme song, what would its message be?
That message, which is what you heard at the Toastmasters meeting, was I got to be me.
Okay, I love that. I love that. And the last question: what's something people apologize for that they shouldn't apologize for?
They apologize for other people's response to their truth.
Hmm.
So if they state their truth and then the other person doesn't handle it correctly or kindly, then they, oh, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. No, just be you and let the cards fall where they may.
All right. Well, Dr. MK, I want to say you did a great job. You passed the test. You played well, sir. You played well. Thank you for being our guest today. And if anyone wants to reach out to Dr. MK, Dr. Myron Krys, you can reach him on his website. It's on the screen there. Dr. Myron Krys, KRYS.com. Dr. Chris, I will see you around the district.
It's been a
It's a
pleasure.
pleasure having you, and let's do this again sometime soon.
I would love that. Thank you so much, Calvin.
My pleasure. We'll be right back after this message. This is Born to Speak to You TV. Hi, this is Calvin Gibbs with Born to Speak to You TV, and here's your Born to Rise tip for today. You're not stuck. You're just committed to certain patterns of behavior that in the past may have worked for you. But guess what? You've grown past those patterns of behavior. Now they're more harmful than they are helpful. And the reason that you can't move forward is because you keep applying an old formula to a new level in your life. That old formula, that is for where you were. But you've moved on to another level. And it's time to have a new formula, a new solution. So change the formula and get a different result. If you keep doing what you did when you were there, it's not going to work out. You've moved on to another level, change the formula, and step into your purpose. You were born to rise.
From the streets of Brooklyn, where stories grow wild, to the glow of the stage where the dream meets the child. A quiet flame, a hidden spark, drawn to the words that lit up the dark.
What an incredible conversation. Today, Dr. MK reminded us that reclaiming our voice isn't always about becoming someone new. It's about rediscovering who we've always been. Healing isn't a destination. It's a journey of releasing what no longer serves us and embracing our true, authentic self and choosing every day to live with purpose, courage, and hope. If something from today's conversation spoke to your heart, then don't let it end here. Okay, pass it on. Take the next step this week towards reclaiming your voice. Have the difficult conversation. Let go of the limiting belief. Choose healing. Choose authenticity. Choose you. I want to extend my sincere thanks again to Dr. Myron Krys for sharing his wisdom, his vulnerability, and his passion with us today. We truly appreciate you being a part of the Born to Speak to You TV family, Dr. Krys. And a special thank you to our incredible partners at DFN Broadcast Studios for providing this platform that allows these meaningful conversations to reach audiences around the world. So if today's episode encourages you, make sure that you like, subscribe, share this episode with someone that needs to hear it. And follow Born to Speak to You TV for more conversations that inspire hope, leadership, and growth. And you can scan the QR code. It's right on your screen. And remember, until next time, your voice has power. Your story has purpose. So keep speaking life into the moments that matter. And we'll see you next week for another conversation that will inspire you to live boldly, lead intentionally, and speak life every step of the way. Bye.
From the streets of Brooklyn, where stories grow wild, to the glow of the stage where the dream meets the child. A quiet flame, a hidden spark, drawn to the words that lit up the dark. Curtains rose, and so did he, finding power in poetry. One voice, one mic, one sacred truth. Every word he spoke uncaged the youth. He saw the world try to silence the bold, but his soul was wired to break the mold. Now he walks in purpose, pure and true. He was born to speak to you. He's got that rhythm in his truth, that fire in his flow. Speaking life into the moment, watch it grow. Every phrase, every beat, a breakthrough cue. Yeah, he was born to speak to you.